It's time for Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball. AII Player of the Week, Max Smart, and her Lady Pioneers host the visiting toppers of Blue Mountain College. Now let's send it to the Carter Activity Center with the voice of the Pioneers, Dustin Seymour.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we welcome you inside the Carter Activity Center. It is time for Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneers Volleyball. It is the sixth game of the season for the green and white, and the Lady Pioneers still searching for that elusive first win of the season. Their match tonight comes against the toppers of Blue Mountain College. Blue Mountain in north central Mississippi, and just their second year of competition as a varsity volleyball squad. Head coach Reed Gann has his Lady Toppers sitting at a 2-2 record. As the Lady Pioneers, the last time we spoke was back on September 29th when the Lady Pioneers were visited by the Mustangs of Central Baptist College. They dropped that game in straight sets, and then on October 2nd, the Lady Pioneers visited the alma mater of, well, not just head coach Carissa Wynn, but yours truly as well at Freed-Hardeman University, and fell to Todd Humphrey's Lady Lions in straight sets as well. And the Lady Pioneers and the Toppers have already matched up once this season, back on the 8th of September. So it has been nearly a month since the Lady Pioneers dropped a 3-1 decision in Blue Mountain at Ripley. I'm joined today by recently retired Crowley's Ridge Lady Pioneer. And again, I have mentioned that she is my favorite volleyball player because she is my dear, loving wife. That is Miss Olivia Seymour. So how are you doing, dear?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking.
So the Lady Pioneers already have played Blue Mountain 3-1 at Blue Mountain. How does that help playing a team you've already seen before coming back home?
It's a great help. You've already been able to scout them. You've been able to see how they adjust, how they work, and you're able to take that knowledge, take it back to practice, and then prepare for this game. Especially since it was a 3-1 game, you know they are beatable. You know that if you work hard, you can get to where you want to be, and so you just take the knowledge from those games, put it toward practice, adjust a few things, and you can get a win from it.
The Lady Toppers are 10th in the nation in service aces per game. They're averaging 2.4 aces per set. Also in the top 50 in digs per game and assists per game, and 18.2 and 11.1 respectively. They are led offensively by Sydney College, a 5'9 junior from North Ogden, Utah. She is 28th in the nation with assists per game, averaging 8.3, and service aces per game. So she can beat you with the assists and the service aces. So how do you stop somebody who's so good at the service line and working as a setter?
I mean, that's hard. The more well-rounded a player is, the harder it is to stop them. But you just have to be conscious of their abilities and work around it. When they're on the serving line, you have to make choices to adjust to how they're serving. If they're serving short, you move up. If they're serving deep, etc. And you just have to be ready. For someone who's a very talented setter, they can make a lot of decisions. And if they play where they're front row, you have to be ready for them to make some attacks. And it's just being conscious of their abilities so you're prepared for any situation.
Lady Pioneers, again, looking for their first win. One game more played, at least, than the Toppers, who are sitting at 2-2. Right even as it gets in kills. Again, remember the Lady Pioneers have played one fewer games than the Toppers. Lady Pioneers have totaled 152 kills. The Toppers 153. Pioneers are averaging 8 kills a game, and the Toppers just under 12 a game. The errors is something that has plagued Crowley's Ridge as attack errors. They have had 108 attack errors. So how do we clean that up, Olivia?
It just takes a lot of conscious decisions. You know, when you get frazzled in a game or when things get difficult, it's easy to get a little messy or not be as disciplined, and you just have to be prepared for those situations so you do the consistent thing every time. And you can do that in practice, making sure that you're always where you need to be, and you can adjust and talk to your setter and get where you need to be and make sure that you're paying attention to how your body's doing so you don't make as many errors.
Lady Pioneers, as far as those assists go, the Lady Pioneers have 136, a majority of those coming from the reigning Association of Independent Institutions Player of the Week. Freshman Max Smart, coming out of DeSoto Central High School, is the reigning AII Player of the Week, as she currently has... I didn't put her assists on here, but she's on up there with assists. Mac has 7 kills and 53 digs on the year, so Max Smart, reigning AII Player of the Week, doing quite well in her freshman campaign. And as we continue looking over the pregame notes, service aces, the Lady Pioneers with 24, the Lady Toppers with 31 digs. Lady Pioneers led with 316. And I believe I failed to mention at our last broadcast, Lady Pioneers, as of last season, have a new career dig record in junior Caitlin Perkins. And so she stands alone at the top of the records as far as digs go, career digs. She sits at 88 currently as the season is just freshly underway. And continuing down the line, Lady Pioneers, 12 solo blocks, 20 assists, and that'll average around to, that averages to, well, I have it on my page. Goes to 22 total blocks. When you average in, the assists get 1, get half of a point, whereas the solo get a whole point. And so that's how that we can have just 2 more total blocks than block assists. We are about 5 minutes away from first serve. We're going to take our first timeout. When we come back, we will give you the starting rotations and get you set for first serve. The 0-5 Lady Pioneers hosting the 2-2 Toppers of Blue Mountain College. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
If you love them enough to barely sleep, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Surgeon General Jerome Adams. If you've recovered from COVID-19 confirmed by a positive test, you're in a special position to help us fight the virus. Your plasma has antibodies that may help others fight COVID. So please donate plasma now. You can literally help save lives. There are locations across the country that have safe ways for you to donate. Find a site to donate your plasma at coronavirus.gov.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services at taxpayer expense.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Coach Wynn. This is Coach Harden. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on Pioneer Digital Network.
And welcome back inside the Carter Activity Center.
This is Sarah Grace Duncan, and you're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
I apologize for that. I forgot to turn off the automatic playthrough.
This is Max. You're listening.
There we go. Had everything else on stopping. But welcome back inside the Carter Activity Center, and we are about 2 minutes away from first serve as we look through our starting rotations. First with our guests from Blue Mountain, again 2-2, led by head coach Reed Gann in his second season at the helm. Starting rotation, we'll look at Sydney College, the 5'9 junior out of North Ogden. Utah, 13 kills, 8 blocks, and 35 digs. Also is Ashley Wright, a 5'7 sophomore out of Florence, Alabama. Sage Blanton, a 5'9 sophomore out of Double Springs, Alabama, 41 digs, 2 blocks, and 26 kills. On the starting rotation will also be Tiandre Stewart, a 6'1 junior, 4 digs, 2 blocks, 8 kills out of Bridgetown, Barbados. Taylor Wright, a 6' even junior out of Huntsville, Alabama, 40 kills, 14 digs, and 7 blocks for the junior. And rounding off will be Abigail Bonebreak, 5'11 sophomore out of Huntsville, Alabama, 2 digs, 8 blocks, and 17 kills. We are going to send it down to the public address announcer, where we will have our prayer and our national anthem, and when we come back, we will introduce the Lady Pioneers. So keep it here. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the campus of Crowley's Ridge College. Welcome to the Ridge. Tonight's college volleyball matchup features the visiting Lady Toppers of Blue Mountain College and your Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneers. Before we begin this evening, we ask that you please stand and read your cap for our prayer, and then remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for everything that you bless us with. Right now, we ask you to bless this game. Let no one be injured. Let everyone play the best of their ability, and let everyone have good sportsmanship. This being the month of October, we also lift up a special prayer for all those who are battling any type of cancer, especially breast cancer. We also pray for this pandemic and for our country. All this we ask in your Son's name. Amen.
And welcome back to Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneers Volleyball. We are introducing both squads. First, the visitors. We've already gone through College. Wright, Blanton, Stewart, Wright, and Bonebreak will be starting for the Toppers, led by head coach Reed Gann. Across the floor for the Lady Pioneers, getting her first action of the 2020 season. The 5'7 senior, Caitlin Stebleton, Transferring out of Lamar State College, hailing from Crosby, Texas, is the senior. Also on the floor for the Lady Pioneers is Miss Olivia Deckelman. She was the second AII Player of the Week last week's. Again, Max Smart, the reigning AII Player of the Week. Olivia Deckelman, a 5'11 junior, 55 kills, 10 blocks, and 50 digs, has the Harrisburg, Arkansas native. Also on the floor, freshman Hannah Halverson, a 5'8 freshman, 15 kills, 1 block, and 39 digs from the hometown of Paragould, Arkansas, right down the road at Greene County Tech, the former Eagle. Sarah Grace Duncan wears number 7. She'll be in the starting lineup. Standing at 5'10", she's a sophomore with 14 kills, 11 blocks, 6 digs out of Milan, Tennessee. Also on the starting rotation, Heather Conaway, a 5'6 freshman, 6 kills, 10 digs out of Scott City, Missouri, the former Scott City High Ram. And the last member of the starting rotation is Miss Amy Elms, wearing number 9. She's a 5'11 freshman, 37 kills in her first season as a Lady Pioneer. No stranger to the program, 7 blocks and 14 digs, has the former CRA Falcon. And, of course, the libero, the first AII Player of the Week. So far, 3 weeks have the Association of Independent Institutions Players of the Week. All 3 have been Lady Pioneers. Started with Caitlin Perkins 3 weeks ago. And then last week was Olivia Deckelman, and Max Smart is the reigning Player of the Week. Caitlin Perkins, a 5'2 junior, again, the career record holder for the Lady Pioneers as far as digs go, and a program record out of Willow Springs, Missouri, the former Willow Springs Bear. So Stebleton, Deckelman, Halverson, Duncan, Conaway, Elms, and then the libero, Caitlin Perkins. So as you've seen the 2 stats, what are the Lady Pioneers going to need to do to break through and get that elusive first win in this early goings of the season?
Based on what we've seen and heard, they're a strong hitting team. They've got very, very good setters that are prepared and good at placing the ball. So you just have to be aware and be ready to block them, get in position early, and especially with the players who have a lot of aces, you have to be aware of who they are, what their typical serving is like, and make sure to get in position and adjust as needed is the big goal. Is if something's not working, adjust, and you'll be able to get the win.
Toppers visiting Paragould from Blue Mountain, Mississippi in sky blue jerseys, navy blue shorts, white socks, knee pads, and shoes, navy blue numerals with white outline with toppers written across the chest. Lady Pioneers in gray tops with a green The Ridge across the chest, green piping down the sides, white numerals with green outline, and black trunks, pads, and shoes. Pioneers and Toppers are getting set in their respective places. The liberos, Caitlin Perkins wearing a green jersey, and across on the other side is, I believe that is Hoffpower. Yes, that is going to be Joanna Hoffpower, 5'4 sophomore out of Trinidad, Colorado, the libero for the blue and white. She is wearing white today as the libero. So Blue Mountain will get the first serve of the match. Sydney College will do the honors for the guests. Lady Pioneers on the right side of your screen or radio dial, however you're tuning in today. Serve in the air and it goes across. That's taken by Halverson and it goes off of her hands. So starting off strong, they average 2.4 service aces a game, and that's how we're going to start. College awaits to serve in the air on its way. That was taken by Deckelman, set by Stebleton, goes over to Deckelman. Deckelman sends it over. That is taken, a set by College. That's going to be tipped over, and it is back over. Hoffpower looks to her left. Now it's back over the net. Here's Deckelman. Deckelman sends it down. A good dig there out of Taylor Wright. Going back to Juliana Taylor. A good save there from Sydney College. A diving save keeps this rally alive. Hannah Halverson gets it to the net. Here's Deckelman. Deckelman, a beautiful punch across by Hoffpower. Here's Duncan. My goodness, a long rally here. There's Taylor, taken by Stebleton. Here's Powell setting Conaway. Conaway's going to send it back. That is taken by Blanton. Going out, and that is out of play. So a long rally goes in favor of the Pioneers. How does that help whenever you have a long rally like that and it goes in your favor?
It's wonderful. It gives you momentum. It makes you feel secure in your choices, and it shows that you can keep a cool head and keep control of the ball over a long period of time, and it gives you a good boost of energy.
Hannah Powell serving for the Lady Pioneers. That's taken by Hoffpower. On the left side is Wright sending it over. Here's Perkins, Stebleton, and a missed set there, trying to go a short set, and instead it goes into the net.
That's one of the hardest things to adjust to because they've had a different setter for the first several games. With a new setter, you have different choices, different styles, and things like that. And so you have to make sure you're dialed in to the setter you have so you make those connections, because sometimes it's just miscommunication or adjusting little things to get back comfortable with who you're playing with.
Juliana Taylor records a service ace on the other side. Lady Toppers lead 3-1. Here's Taylor to Halverson. Halverson off the fingertips. Here is Stebleton. Free balls it across the net. Hoffpower to College. College finds Abigail Bonebreak as she slams it home. Toppers up 4-1. Taylor out of Bear Creek, Alabama. Serves it. Goes to Halverson. Here's Perkins. Bumps it over to Duncan. Duncan hits the net. A good diving try there by Joanna Hoffpower, but is unable to corral that, and it falls to the court. Lady Pioneers have cut the lead to 4-2.
Duncan put that in a great spot. She did it shorter than they were expecting, and then it was harder for them to get, and we benefited from that.
A set across. Beautiful block there by Hannah Halverson. Here's Perkins, bump sets it, and goes in between two players, but a good save there by the Lady Pioneers. Here's Stebleton. Perkins, bump sets to Halverson. Halverson smacks it over. Taken. Here's College, setting back to Taylor. Taylor, Halverson gets it, but out of the diving reach of Kate Stebleton. 5-2 in favor of the Toppers.
Those kind of plays are a little difficult. When you get out of system, it's hard to rein it back in, and sometimes you get a little frantic, and it's hard to get back in system, and that just takes dedication and focus and making sure you don't worry too much.
Olivia Deckelman sends it across, dug out by, that was Hoffpower, a good pancake block and then a pancake dig. Beautiful block there by Olivia Deckelman that goes into the hands of the Toppers. Stebleton sets it across, finds Halverson. Halverson sends it over. College gets it to Hoffpower, who finds Wright. Another long rally. Stebleton back sets to Deckelman. College looks to her left to find Sage Blanton. Perkins to Powell, who bumps it across the net. College back sets to Wright, and Wright ballisters it across the net, puts a hole in the hardwood.
Those rallies are so hard when you lose them, because when you're scrambling and you're getting up those difficult plays, you're really into it, and you really have the energy going, and it's hard to lose those. But sometimes you're just not going to get the point, and you just have to come back and work for the next one.
On the other side of the net, here's Deckelman, who bumps it to Emmy Elms. Elms sends it across. Hoffpower with the dig. Finding over, that's punched across by Sage Blanton. Here's a back set to Deckelman. Deckelman gets it out of play. So that is a good attack there from Deckelman. A little too much mustard on it. Gets it out of play. Joanna Hoffpower, Trinidad, Colorado native. Stebleton back sets to Deckelman. Deckelman tries to get it across. It rolls over the net. Back to Deckelman. Perkins to College across the net. College finds Blanton. A beautiful block by Emmy Elms. Elms stuffs it right back into the face of the Toppers. And it is now 7-3 in favor of the guests. College sets to her back. And that's going to find the floor.
Kill number 20, Taylor Wright. Point Toppers.
So the Toppers have some cannons for arms on some of these set kills. Taylor Wright, a 6-foot even junior, serves it. Perkins with the dig. Stebleton to Halverson. Halverson, she's rejected. Here's Elms. Elms smacks it into the net.
Point Toppers.
One thing I do like that I'm seeing from the Pioneers today is that they're moving the ball from each side of the court. They're not setting one player or one area consistently. They're moving it, so it makes it more difficult for the defense on the other team to get set up and be able to read the ball.
Toppers record their third service ace of the game as Taylor Wright records an ace. And that just goes out of play. A hard serve. That's one of the things that I've noticed is some players have a harder serve than others. Is that difficult to do on the back row to try and gauge how fast a person's going to serve to you?
Yeah, one thing that you really have to scout and be aware of is people's serving tendencies. A person who's really good at this is Caitlin Perkins, and she'll look and see who the player is and say top spin, or she'll say deep float, and she knows what they're going to send, so you can kind of adjust and be aware for each player.
Kill from Hannah correction, that is Heather Conaway. Gets recorded with a kill there. 10-5. Lady Pioneers trailing the visiting Toppers. Halverson sends it across. That is dug out. Here's College with a beautiful back dump. But a beautiful kill from Emmy Elms erases the sneaky play. 10-6. Lady Pioneers trying to climb their way back. Halverson serves it. Taken up. Here's College. Will set Blanton. And she'll record the kill.
That, again, is a tricky area on the court to cover because it's in between two players. And a lot of times the block is taking away that ball, but if the player hits around the block or over the block, that can be a big hole that you have to adjust to make sure that they don't keep killing you in that weak area.
Stebleton serves to Elms. Elms mistimes her jump, and it goes into the net. 12-6. Service by the Toppers. Here is Heather Conaway. Conaway mistimes her jump. 13-6. Service over by the Toppers. Halverson gets the dig. A quick over by Stebleton. Wow, a blistering kill there from Juliana Taylor.
Those kills are really hard to defend against because sometimes they come right before you're set when you're still moving to the area. And especially in the center of the floor, sometimes you just can't get to a ball like that.
Sage Blanton with the serve. Stebleton will bump set Conaway. Conaway sends it the length of the net, dug up by Taylor. Sent over by College. Perkins with the dig to Stebleton. Stebleton across to Conaway. Conaway with a cannon arm of her own.
Now serving number 9,
14-7. And that's going to be served out of bounds.
That's so difficult. One of the things you always have to be disciplined for is after working hard and finally getting the ball back, especially when you're down, to make sure that you don't make any personal errors or service errors when you get it back so that you can take the ball and use it and push forward.
Across the way. And it's Sarah Ray Gouldsby out of Pottscamp, Mississippi. Serves it across. Stebleton bump sets, finds Duncan. And Duncan will record the kill. Sarah Grace Duncan will get her second kill. That sends Kate Stebleton to the line to serve. She'll serve it across, dug up, into the net. Good recovery there from the Toppers to keep it in play. Stebleton sets Deckelman. Deckelman kills it across, and that's going to go into the student section. So Deckelman gets recorded with the kill. Lady Pioneers behind 15-9. Stapleton with the service. Here's College, sets to her back to Taylor. Perkins sets it to Deckelman, and mishandling is Sage Blanton. Point will go to the Lady Pioneers, 15-10.
They're doing a good job pushing back and getting points, and they're benefiting from the errors of the other team, making sure that they're not the ones not getting there in time.
And a soft dig there. Not dig, but a soft kill there out of Abigail Bonebreak. Breaks the 3-0 run by the Lady Pioneers, 16-10. As Sydney College makes her way back to the service line. She will send it across. Hannah Halverson gets the dig. Here's Heather Conaway. Conaway with a good kill there.
That was a great decision by Conaway. She decided to do a little off speed to do a hard tip instead of slamming the ball. And that was a great decision because the defense wasn't ready to handle it.
Heather Conaway now with her third kill of the game, now leading the team. Senior Hannah Powell sends it just over the top of the net. And then a big swing there out of Abigail Bonebreak, the 5'11 sophomore out of Huntsville, Alabama. 17-11. Service over by Taylor to Deckelman to Duncan. Correction, that was Stapleton to Duncan. A great dive there by Juliana Taylor to try and keep the ball in play, but it kind of just went straight up in the air, and no other topper was in the vicinity to keep that in play.
Yeah, when those shanked balls get close to the wall, you have to be very careful not to run headfirst into it, and sometimes you're just not able to recover.
Yeah, there's about 15 feet of padding there, but that was off to the side, and there's no warning track. Here's Powell. Set by Stapleton to Halverson. Halverson sends it, and that's going to be outside the line, too hard. 18-12. A substitution as Tiandre Stewart will re-enter the contest at 6'1". Johanna Hoffpower serving. Emmy Elms with the attack there. Here's Blanton, and Blanton puts too much mustard, and that goes out of play.
Now serving number 4, Olivia.
18-13, Lady Pioneers not going away quietly here in the opening set. Deckelman sends it over. Here's College. College sets Blanton, and Caitlin Perkins tries to watch that. Perkins, being that back row player, tries to eye that line, but that was just inside.
Taylor Wright.
Taylor Wright serving left to right. Stapleton sets behind her to Halverson. Halverson College with the dig. Blanton gets the kill as that falls about 2 feet in front of Caitlin Perkins. 20-13. Toppers ahead of the Lady Pioneers. Perkins with the dig and a dump there from Stapleton, but it's quickly killed from the Lady Toppers, and that's going to send the Lady Pioneers into their first timeout of the set. 21-13, Lady Pioneers behind the visiting Toppers of Blue Mountain College. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance. Say hi, guys. When I adopted them, I discovered that they both have incredible personalities. Chance's sole purpose in life is to love and to be loved. Frankie is a little bit of a scoundrel and always entertaining. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
This is Heather Conaway. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Lady Pioneers down 21-13. Hey, Halverson attack. Here is College. College looks to her left to Blanton. Here's Powell to Halverson. Halverson, the dig across the way by Taylor. Beautiful diving stop there by Deckelman. Back to Halverson. Halverson and up-reaching Taylor right. Here is Stebleton. Stebleton sets Elms just out of the fingertips of Elms, but she still manages to get it over. College sets it back right into the net. Perkins will dig it up. College will set. Big block there by Heather Conaway, but the Toppers keep it in play. Here is Elms. This time Elms finds it.
Net violation.
Well, that was a kill and a net violation. Either way, it was going to be Lady Pioneer point. That's actually not good, as that's going to take a point away from a big kill there by Emmy Elms.
Yeah, that's so hard when you work hard for a point and you get the kill, but the thing that happens before that ends the play is not your kill in the books, and so you don't get that point.
So we're going to remember to add one kill to Emmy Elms' total, as Lady Pioneers will serve it into the net, 22-14. Toppers ahead of the Lady Pioneers. Sitting over is Blanton. Here's an attack there by the Lady Pioneers.
Number 3, Kickless.
And that's going to fall in favor of the Lady Neers.
One thing that I'm seeing that I like is the change of tempo with the ball, especially in long rallies. You can't just keep hammering the ball and hitting it in the same spot. You have to move things around, tip it, then go back to swinging, and that way you can keep the opponent on their toes and hopefully point from it.
Taylor with a big smack, but across the way goes Conaway. Here is Taylor, and pushing there for the Lady Pioneers, and that is going to be just out of play. 22-16, Lady Pioneers not going away quietly. Dump there by College. Stebleton keeps it in play. Sarah Grace Duncan bumps it across the net. And a big kill there coming from Tiandre Stewart.
Kill number 19, Tiandre Stewart.
I liked that hustle there by the Pioneers. They're not letting a ball fall just because it's a little inconvenient to get. They're hustling and they're getting there, and they're able to make a play out of it.
23-16. Serving is Sarah Ray Goolsby. Goolsby serves it. Deckelman with the dig to Conaway, who bumps it over to Duncan, and that's going to be out of play. And it is now set point.
Set point, Blue Mountain College.
Service over, finds Conaway. And the attack there from Duncan. Sending over, here is Taylor, and that's going to go off the fingertips of the Lady Pioneers, and that will do it for the opening set, 25-16 in favor of the Toppers. So we're going to take a timeout after the first set goes in favor of the guests, 25-16. This is Crowley Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
What is dedication?
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much, from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night, and every moment in between. It really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Olivia Deckelman. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Welcome back. High atop the Carter Activity Center on this Tuesday evening. Lady Pioneers dropped the opening set. 25-16, rather. So a good start by the Lady Pioneers. What did you see in that opening set that the Pioneers need to do in order to force the comeback?
One thing that they just need to be conscious of is personal errors. When you fight so hard, especially in a rally, and you fight hard and you get the ball back, you can't miss your serve. And when you're in the end of a long rally, you need to be conscious not to hit the ball out, place it well, do things like that. So if they just clean it up a little bit, they'll do much better, and it'll be a much closer game, and they can definitely beat this team. They just have to make sure to clean up the little bit of personal errors and mistakes.
Clean opening set for the visitors, an 18-point even attack percentage, so 13 kills with 4 errors. Lady Pioneers 11 kills off of 6 errors for a 9.4 percentage. Leading the way for the Pioneers in kills is Sarah Grace Duncan and Heather Conaway with 3 each. On the other side, Sage Blanton, Abigail Bonebreak, and Juliana Taylor all with 3 kills each. So everybody's trying to get set here for the second set. On the court for the toppers will be College, Lipscomb, Blanton, Wright, Bonebreak, and Taylor. For the Lady Pioneers will be Stebbleton, Deckelman, Halverson, Duncan, Conaway, and Elms. But Elms steps off in favor of her libero, Caitlin Perkins. So it'll be Stebbleton, Deckelman, Halverson, Duncan, Conaway, and Perkins on the court for the Lady Pioneers. And Caitlin Stebbleton will get the first serve. Again, with the COVID-19 rules, the players do not trade sides as they normally would. Here is Halverson running down that play. Cade Stebbleton bumps it back across the net. And the attack there from Abigail Bonebreak is a little too hard. Pioneers break the first point here in the second set.
That's a great way to come back, especially after a loss. And when you have the advantage of starting with the serve, you really need to push and get those points early.
Big block there from Lady Pioneers. A tip on the net throws the Pioneers off their game, but that's going to go out of play. Last touched by Heather Conaway. So we are even at 1, which will send Sydney College
now serving number 2, Sydney
back to the start. College lops it, sends it. Perkins with the dig. Stebbleton. Stebbleton finds Duncan. Overpass there, gets it back to Stebbleton and into the net, but the Pioneers, that's going to be 4. Lady Pioneers thought that they had got it over the net, but it did not. And so the Pioneers were setting up for another attack, but they touched it one too many times.
That's why you play till the whistle, because you don't know how it's going to be called or if it's going to be called. And when balls are that close to the top of the tape, you really have to just keep playing until the ref tells you what their call is.
A ball handling error there. Double touch. Gives the point to the Toppers. Duncan sets it to Stapleton, goes over to Deckelman. Across the way into the contest now to Corey Coleman, a 6'even" junior out of San Francisco, California, now into the game for the first time. Taylor back to Deckelman. Deckelman sends it over the net, punched over by College. Stapleton sends it back to Deckelman, and that's going to be a kill by the junior Olivia Deckelman.
The Toppers are doing a good job at putting the ball in difficult positions, sending it to the other team's setter and things like that. And the Pioneers did a good job getting it back. They just need to get it a little more under control and make it a little more clean, and they'll be in good shape.
Hannah Powell serves it. That finds Hoffpower. Hoffpower will bump it across the net. Stapleton with the set too close to the net, and it got off the... And trying to determine where the ball hit, which side of the floor did it hit on? Is that Crowley's Ridge point, or is it Blue Mountain point? The coaching staff, Coach Wynn, halfway out to the referee, ensuring that should be Crowley's Ridge point. I didn't exactly see what happened.
It was a difficult ball. Olivia Deckelman tipped it, and it hit the other block, and it looked like it came back, but it looks like Coach Wynn is saying, awesome. It looks like Coach Wynn was saying that the other team touched it, and then it landed out of bounds, which means that it would be Pioneer ball, and it looks like the refs agree.
And no argument from head coach Reed Gann, and so he must have seen it. That was
Probably.
right there on his side. It is tied 3-3. College sends it to find she had found to Corey Coleman. So Taylor will have the service. She'll punch it across. Here's Stapleton setting Duncan. Duncan with a big kill. Sarah Grace Duncan picks up her 4th kill of the night.
She's doing a great job. She made sure to muscle through that block. The block was there, but she hit it hard and was able to get the point.
Perkins with the service. Here's Coleman. Coleman, big block there by Emmy Elms. Emmy Elms has recorded, let me see, which block was that? That's several that I've mentioned. That is the 2nd solo block for Elms. College looks to her left, and that is out of play, last touched by the Lady Pioneers. It is tied 5-all. Hoffpower, the libero back to serve. She sends it, grazing the top of the net. Here's Elms, finds Halverson. Halverson closed fists it across. The set to Blanton. And an overpass and a over the net. That was Taylor Wright jumped over, and it was still on the Lady Pioneer side of the net.
Yeah, legally you have to give the setter an opportunity to play the ball.
And Gann just kind of shrugged his shoulders at the referee. Here's Deckelman, and the block there goes to Taylor Wright, but the kill there by the Lady Pioneers as the attack was a strong one, and the block rolled out of bounds. Lady Pioneers lead it 7-5 here in set number 2. Looking to the left side, here's Blanton, dug out by Perkins. Deckelman sides it out. College going to find Taylor Wright, And Wright records the kill.
The play is a little more frantic this game. The Pioneers came out strong, and so the Toppers weren't quite ready for it. So they're a little less controlled than they were in the first game, and that's why it's so even in this game. They're taking advantage of it.
Checking into the game is Jemiah Lipscomb out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama. A lot of Northwest Alabama connections here from head coach Reed Gann, which makes a lot of sense as Coach Gann is a graduate of the University of North Alabama in Florence, Alabama. So a lot of Northwest Alabama connections on this Blue Mountain roster. And it's not a very far drive from Northwest Alabama to Blue Mountain, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. So in the process, the Lady Pioneers will record the kill. 8-7 with the lead are the ladies in green. Halverson serves it. A big attack there out of Taylor Wright, but she sends that off target. It is 9-7 in favor of the home team. Halverson back to College, and College will set Blanton. Diving stop by Stebleton. Here's the set by Wright. Correction, that was College. And the Toppers will record the kill. And that sends the Double Springs Alabama native, Sage Blanton, to the service line. Blanton jumps and serves. That's at the chest of Emmy Elms. She does keep it in play, however. College will set it across to find Taylor. Back set. Perkins will just kind of free ball it over. Miscommunication by the ladies in green. A big attack, but Heather Conaway's there to block it back in. That goes into the net. Lady Pioneers get the kill. Now 10-8. Emmy Elms just wanting to serve it. She was taking a step forward before the referee whistled, but held on to it just in time. But it served right into the net. Lady Pioneers cling on to a 1-point lead, 10-9. Taylor Wright serves it. Here's Stebleton, and that's sent to a wide open hole by Abigail Bombrake.
That's hard. Those plays, when they're quick like that, you're not quite set and ready. And when they tip it back over so quickly, you're not ready to play defense.
Right. Serves it across. Stebleton sets it and finds Sarah Grace Duncan. Here is College. A block there by Sarah Grace Duncan.
The Pioneers are doing a wonderful job getting their blocks up there, setting them, and making sure they're strong. And it's really great to see them getting these points.
That is 4 total blocks in this set alone. Taylor, and that goes off of the wrist of Kate Stebleton. Lady Pioneers cling 11-11. Back in is Takori Coleman. 6 foot even junior. Sydney College skies it over. Stebleton to Deckelman. And Deckelman finds a hole in the defense. It is 12-11. Neither team wanting to give much to the other. It has been pretty much 1 point back and forth. Powell serves it over. College, quick set up. A good dive there by Kate Stebleton, keeping it in play. College sets it, goes back to Taylor, to Stebleton, to Perkins, to Deckelman. Deckelman smacks it with that left hand and sends it over. It is a 13-11 lead for the Lady Pioneers.
That was wonderful hustle by the Pioneers. They didn't let the ball die, and when they got out of system because the other team placed it in a good spot by sending it to our setter, they used KP and got that kill from Deckelman.
Coleman tips it over the net. A sending over. Here's College. Sets Taylor. Taylor will get it right at the feet of Caitlin Stebleton. It was, again, one of those. It's a kill and net violation at the same time. 13-12. Lady Pioneers cling to the 1-point lead. Stebleton sets to Halverson. To Hoffpower. Across the way to Blanton. And Blanton is going to get the kill off of the hands of Caitlin Perkins. And we are all knotted up at lucky 13.
Serving number 31, Juliana Taylor.
As Caitlin Perkins tries to watch it out of play, but again, it must have hit right on the paint. And the Lady Toppers will take their first lead of the set, 14-13. And that's going to sail out of bounds.
Now serving the libero number 5, Caitlin Perkins.
Caitlin Perkins will serve it. An attack there by Sage Blanton, and that's going to break through the block. Toppers with a 15-14 lead.
Now serving the libero number 10, Joanna Hoffpower.
Hoffpower sends it over. Stebleton sets Elms, and Elms is going to smack it into the net. No, it got over the net.
That was a strange bounce, but we're glad for the point.
Yeah, it must have rolled up the net and over. The attack there by the Toppers, and that sails out of bounds. Back on top are the Lady Nears, 16-15.
Now serving number 4, Olivia Deckelman.
That was Emmy Elms' 4th kill of the night. Here's Deckelman to Stebleton. Stebleton sets Elms. Elms smacks it home off the roof. Can we keep it in play? The Toppers do just that. Good play there by Takori Coleman. But that one is going to be off of the hands of Juliana Taylor. 17-15.
That was a wonderful job by Emmy Elms. She's being very aggressive, and she's doing good at placing the ball. And we're so happy to have her on the team this year.
College tries to set, and in the net are the Lady Pioneers. So Elms got a little too close to the net there. 17-16.
Now looking for blue mound, number 12, Jemiah Lipscomb.
Jemiah Lipscomb will toss and serve. Across the net goes Stebleton with the kill.
Yeah, when passes are a little tight, sometimes that's all you can do is get that quick tip over there. And luckily, most of the time, teams aren't really set for it, and you can catch them off guard.
Hannah Halverson will have the service for the Lady Pioneers. Sending it across, that finds Taylor to College. Going back to right, and right sends it into the net. And Coach Gann wants to talk things over. It is 19-16 in favor of the Lady Pioneers here in the second set. We'll take the timeout as well. This is Crowley's Ridge College, Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Well, head coach Reed Gann had a minute 15 to talk to his girls and took about 15 seconds of that, so we apologize for the delay in calling the game. Here's Conaway to Deckelman, who sends it across. College back sets and finds Taylor right. And a big kill there for the Lady Pioneers. Heather Conaway crushes it across the net. 2017, Lady Pioneers need to push 5 to tie the game at 1. Match at 1, rather. Here's Taylor. And Taylor sends it, and that goes off of the backboard. As that is how the walls go. If the ball touches, say, the roof or the wall, and it's within the imagine a giant rectangle, which is the court. If the ball hits some kind of obstacle inside of that rectangle, the ball remains in play. But if it hits something that is outside of the rectangle, then the ball is considered out. And so that touched off the fingertips of a Lady Pioneer, and as it hit the shot clock, that is immediately considered out. And because it was last touched by the Lady Pioneers, that is a point for the Toppers. However, coming across the other way, the Lady Pioneers pushing points 22-18. At the service line is Caitlin Stevelton. Sending it over. The attack there by the Toppers finds Conaway. Block there. Stevelton, back set. That was a dump there by Stevelton. Sending it over. Conaway goes back. Here is Deckelman. Deckelman sends it far, but that's kept in play by Blanton, and then we will have a double touch. And Coach Reed Gann wants to take another timeout as Lady Pioneers need 2 points to tie the match at 1. 23-18. We'll take a timeout. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is Hannah Jean Halverson. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Lady Pioneers send Caitlin Stevelton to the back line. (23-18). Juliana Taylor, Caitlin Perkins, and an attack there by Caitlin Stevelton sent just a bit too far.
Now serving number 2, Sydney College.
Sydney College with her Lady Toppers down 23-19. College serves it. Stevelton sets Deckelman. Deckelman swings across. College sets Coleman. Coleman to Stevelton to Deckelman. Deckelman slams it home. It is set point for the Lady Pioneers.
You can tell that the momentum has shifted for the Pioneers, and the Toppers coach, called those 2 timeouts to, kind of break the momentum, and they got the serve back, but then the Pioneers were able to keep it up and get the ball back, and now they're at set point.
High power finds College over to Coleman. Coleman punches it across. Here's Caitlin Perkins. Perkins sets Deckelman. Deckelman with the attack. High power bump sets Coleman. Coleman mishandles the pass, and that is point Crowley's Ridge. Set Crowley's Ridge. We are all knotted up at 1 game to 1 game. 25-19 is the final for the second game, and we will head to set number 3 right after this. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
This is Sarah Grace Duncan, and you're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
And welcome back to the Carter Activity Center as the Lady Pioneers break a 7-game losing streak. They had lost 7 straight sets and finally break that with a 25-19 victory to avoid the sweep. How much does that change the momentum there to break, knowing that you're not going to be swept?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's great to have that momentum back, and it's great to have that energy back. It makes everything more positive and easier, and when that's going on, the communication is better and the play is better, and you know that by winning that one set, you can win the whole game.
So all knotted up at 1-1. And one of the players for Blue Mountain had a not allowed to wear any kind of jewelry and must have had a holder in one of her ears, and up ref wanted to make sure that she was within regulation. She indeed was. Here's Sydney College. College sets it to Halverson. Here is Deckelman. Deckelman starts it off with a kill with a miscommunication. We'll take any point we can get.
We sure will. Those bounces off of those blocks are very difficult because they're right behind the blocking players, and sometimes the defense can't get up there to get it, and the block can't turn around and get it quick enough.
Hannah Powell with the service. Goes and finds, that is DeAndre Stewart. Stewart smacks it across.
Now serving number 31, Juliana Taylor.
Juliana Taylor. Tied 1-1. Serves it over. Stebleton will back set and find Sarah Grace Duncan to College. College finds Stewart. DeAndre Stewart gives the Toppers a 2-1 lead. Skying up, that grazes the top of the net. Here's Deckelman. Deckelman sends it over. In play, that goes off the wrist of Juliana Taylor. And the Lady Pioneers tie it up at 2 each.
The other team thought that Stapleton was going to tip it over like she had in the past, and they weren't ready for Deckelman to hit it at them. and they just couldn't quite clean it up in time to get the point.
Amy Elms goes back. Stebleton finds Deckelman. Deckelman off the fingertips of the Toppers. Going across. Stebleton finds Elms. Elms off of her fingertips almost gets the kill, but a good defensive play there by the blue and white. Finds Deckelman. Deckelman with her fingertips. Lady Pioneers with that soft attack. Catching the Toppers on their toes, but that last kill hits the floor. Oh, illegal hit. Three to 2. Sarah Ray Goolsby back to serve for the Toppers. Goolsby takes a running start. Skies it over. Picked up by Powell, just over. And just missed the line. It was a mistake there by the Lady Pioneers. Almost was able to cash in on the mistake, but it goes in favor of the Toppers. Toppers up 4-2. And the service by Goolsby's in the net, so Lady Pioneers will take the point.
Now serving number 4, Olivia Deckelman.
So Olivia Deckelman steps back. Deckelman finds Stebleton to Elms, and Elms smashes it off the fingertips of a Topper.
That was a great decision by the Pioneers. That was the first time that they've run a slide in this game, and by doing so, the other team isn't familiar with that, isn't used to us doing that in this game, and so she was able to get the point off that ball.
So what is a slide exactly?
A slide is where a player runs a hit that is not their position. So Emmy Elms was coming from the middle and went around behind the setter to the right side, and it's a different approach, and it gets you to a position where there's not typically a hitter, and you can catch the other team off guard.
Lady Pioneers take a 5-4 lead, but that is quickly erased on the attack by Taylor Wright. Attack there from Hannah Powell. Finds Caitlin Stebleton to Elms, and Elms attacks, but right into the hands of the Toppers. And the block is recorded, 6-5. Sending it over, Hannah Powell to Halverson. Across the way, Taylor Wright finds Hannah Powell to Olivia Deckelman. Deckelman with the left hand graces the tip of the net. College sets Blanton. Stebleton to Halverson. And on the floor, actually that was off of the foot of Sydney College with a bicycle kick over the net.
Those balls are very tricky. When you're playing, you can hit it off any body part as long as there's not a significant lifting motion, and so you are allowed to play it off your foot, your elbow, your head, and still get the point.
I mean, that was a straight-up bicycle kick
Sure
from
was.
behind, desperation throwing the foot up, and because the Lady Pioneers thought that hit the ground, had already huddled up to celebrate, which again, as you talked about, always played till the whistle. 8-5 now after a double touch, but into the net goes to service by Wright.
Now serving number 6, Hannah Halverson.
Hannah Halverson will serve. Going back, the attack there. Goes off of the hands, and that will find the floor.
And again, Emmy Elms just ran the slide. Once you know something works, and if they're not going to adjust to it, you can keep running it. So our setter is front row right now, and so they're not expecting a right side hitter, so the slide is very effective.
7-8. Lady Pioneers down by 1. Overpass there from Caitlin Perkins. She sends it right up and down goes the point out of Sydney College.
Now serving number 14, Sage Blanton.
Sage Blanton. Across the net, and that goes off the fingertips of the Lady Pioneers. And Crowley's Ridge wants to talk things over, now trailing 7-10. Lady Pioneers with a timeout. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
This is the Maya Archery. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
This is Caitlin Stapleton. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to the Pioneer Digital Network, coming out of the timeout by the Lady Pioneers. As Sage Blanton sends it over, Olivia Deckelman to Stebleton. Stebleton finds Emmy Elms. Across the way, here is Juliana Taylor. A good dig there by Caitlin Perkins, but mistiming her jump is Heather Conaway, and that's going to fall in favor of the Toppers. Sage Blanton with the service. Overpass from Hannah Halverson, and that attack is out of play. So it is now 11-8 in favor of the blue and white.
The Pioneers just need to take a breath here. Now that they've got the ball back, if they just settle down and take their time, they can push points.
Juliana Taylor records the kill. It is now 12-8. High power. Goes over. There is College. Looks to her left, and that finds Tiandre Stewart. Here's Stebleton. A good move as that curved over the net. Going over, there's College to Halverson. Halverson to Stebleton. Stebleton to Conaway. And a big-time block there by the Toppers. So it is now 13-8. Which has Joanna Hoffpower. Hoffpower averages 5 digs per game. She is currently at 20 digs on the game. And that's going to be out of play. (14-8). Lady Toppers. The attack by Hoffpower finds Halverson. Halverson off the hands. Goes across. There's attack by Taylor rather. And that is a point, 15-8.
There's been a lot more out-of-system plays, which means that the ball isn't quite where you want it to be. It's not fully getting to the setter, or the setter is pulled off so they have less setting options, and it makes it harder to earn points.
Stebleton sets, and the Lady Pioneers get a break as a net violation will break a 4-point run. And the Toppers asking for a bit of an explanation as Not sure they were in the net, and we'll have a red card for one of the players. Not sure which player it was, but a red card generally means that the player has to leave. He showed red card. I know that's in soccer. The player has to leave immediately.
Typically, that is what it means. A player can earn a red card by saying things they shouldn't say, or sometimes players who aren't the captains go up and try to talk to the refs or argue with the refs, and that's not allowed. So there could be several reasons. They could have been, saying things, arguing. It's typically arguing or foul language or something like that will happen. But I didn't really see what started this. I just saw them conferring with the ref.
Right, I didn't either. I saw junior Juliana Taylor go up and try to talk things over with the referee. And, a referee, it seems to be dealing with DeAndre Stewart. But Stewart remains in place. The referee has shown the red card. I don't think you can withdraw a card.
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, if he's shown the card, then the card has been shown. Still trying to find out what is happening here. We will try and get you up to date as best we can. And we'll take a break as we try and decipher what is happening here, as the referee's conferring now with the scorer's table. As it stands, the Lady Pioneers trail at 15. Now the scoreboard says 10. So we'll try and wrap things up for you once we come back. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
So an unsportsmanlike conduct card on number 19, DeAndre Stewart. However, she received a red card. But she is remaining in the game. 15-11. Attack up, and that is a double touch by the Lady Pioneers. 15-11.
It's really hard when things like that are going on that are postponing play to make sure your mind is in the right place to focus on getting the ball, keeping that fight alive so you don't just get used to waiting. You have to come back out strong and keep fighting.
Here is Halverson. Halverson finds Stebleton over to Deckelman. Deckelman off the fingertips. Here is College. College sets Taylor. Stebleton across the way. Attack there. Finds Caitlin Perkins. Stebleton finds Sarah Grace Duncan, who bumps it across the net. College. The attack there is out of play. It is Crowley's Ridge point.
That was a good point by the Pioneers. A lot of good defense. Perkins was there. She got several good digs, and we were able to get the ball back.
So Caitlin Perkins with a 16-12 deficit. The attack there coming from right. Halverson with the attack. And that's going to bump across the fingertips of Lady Pioneers, and it is a point for the Toppers. Juliana Taylor skies it, and that goes out of play. It is Crowley's Ridge point.
It's hard to be sure on those balls that are so close. as volleyball players, we're used to doing the math in our head and kind of knowing where the ball's going to land, and sometimes it gets an odd bounce, but the Pioneers were able to get that point because it bounced out of bounds.
Here's Deckelman. Deckelman goes to the left. There is Taylor. Stebbleton finds Elms. Elms skies it across. Hoffpower gets the dig. Looking to the left is College. The attack there from Deckelman. Good diving dig there. And the attack from the Lady Toppers is a little too hard. It is Crowley's Ridge point. KP, as she is affectionately known here at CRC, Caitlin Perkins at the service line. Going, here's the attack by Halverson, sends it over the net. The attack there, trying to dive out for it was Perkins. 18-14.
Now serving for Blue Mountain, number 5, Sarah Ray Goolsby.
Which will bring Sarah Ray Goolsby. Kill there from Emmy Elms.
Now serving number 4, Olivia Deckelman.
Big attack there from Wright.
Taylor Wright.
Taylor Wright gets the attack. On the left side is Abigail Bonebreak. Bonebreak skies it over, goes off of the chest of Perkins, but keeps it in play. That was Powell, rather. College sends it across, and that's going to graze off the net, and that's going to get Olivia Deckelman on her heels a bit. And it is now 20-15. And the referee signaled official timeout. It looks like there needs to be some kind, and Coach Wynn, I guess, is going to take it. I think there was supposed to be a substitution. Oh, no. Looks maybe a nosebleed of some kind, but Coach Wynn wants to talk things over. Nonetheless, it is 20-15. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I'm United States Surgeon General Jerome Adams, America's doctor. And all across our nation, we've taken steps together to slow the spread of coronavirus. Now we must continue to take personal responsibility to protect ourselves and our loved ones. Because even though not all of us risk a severe case of coronavirus, we all risk getting it and spreading it to others, maybe without even realizing that we're sick. So if we want to get back to school, back to work, back to worship, and back to overall health, there are things our country needs to do. We need to follow state and local guidelines, take extra precautions if at higher risk, wash our hands frequently, stay 6 feet from others when we can, and when we can't stay 6 feet from others, please, I'm begging you, wear a face covering. These small actions will make a big difference. So I'm asking you to say it with me, America. Coronavirus stops with me. You can learn more at coronavirus.gov.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services at taxpayer expense.
And Halverson gets the kill. And then that is an attack error by Taylor Wright. So we do have clarification on that red card earlier. If you're familiar with soccer, A red card is immediate ejection. That is not the case in volleyball. In volleyball, if it is a yellow card, there is yellow and red. A yellow card is a loss of service, and a red card is loss of service and a penalty point to the opposing team. There is a case in which a player can be expelled from the game, but that would be a red and a yellow card. So you learn things new every day. That is out of play. I think I mentioned it last year. One of the coolest things that I have learned about volleyball is that in some European leagues, there's a green card.
Yes, I remember talking about that. Yeah, the green card is kind of you're a good player, you have good sportsmanship. It's a reward.
Yeah, it's usually a player says, yeah, I double touched that. I'm sorry, you missed it. You missed that I double touched it. Something like that. But it is 20-18, and off of her heels is Olivia Deckelman. It is 21-18. Sage Blanton sends it across. Halverson back into the game to Elms. Elms pops it across. The attack there goes into the net. It is 19-21. Lady Pioneers not going away quietly. Emmy Elms will go to the service line.
They've done a good job fighting to get the ball back, fighting to get these points back, and now they've got the momentum, and they have to take advantage of it.
As Blanton and Wright bump into each other, but Wright does get the ball in play. College bumps back to Blanton, to Halverson. Overpass goes right to the hands of Juliana Taylor. The best kind of sets are overpasses, aren't they?
They really are. Those are so dangerous, and you really have to be careful. Hitters are always looking for those. They're always excited for those, and that's an easy way to get a point, is just to be ready on the net and slam it straight down.
22-19 in favor of the guests. Hoffpower finds Conaway. Stebbleton sets Sarah Grace Duncan. That is blocked. Coming across, and that goes. That will touch the line. No, the referee overturns the line judge.
That's so hard. From the angle that the Pioneers are standing, it looks in. But the up ref has a little bit more of an advantage. I think it was barely out from where we are up here, but it's so hard when from your angle you see it in and you want to fight for that ball.
Stapleton will set Duncan, and that hits the floor. Crowley's Ridge point, 23-20. These two squads are going down to the wire.
I love to see this level of fight. No one's giving up.
Across goes College. Here's Powell. Perkins bump sets Deckelman. Deckelman off the block. A attack there, Sarah Grace Duncan. Jumping for joy as she records her 7th kill of the night.
That was great. Great work by Duncan. She was there on defense, ready to cover. And then because she was paying attention, because she was ready, she was right there, able to get the ball that was on the net.
A service error by the Lady Pioneers, and we will have to wipe the perspiration from the hardwood.
It always seems silly, but it's so important because these floors, when they're highly polished, they get very slippery, and that can cause injury quickly. So it seems frivolous, but it's very important.
Oh, yeah. Coming back is College. It is set point toppers. Sydney College jumps and serves it. Stebbleton crosses the net via Deckelman. Going back to Taylor. Heather Conaway to Stebbleton, back to Conaway, and that is a blocking error. It is Crowley's Ridge point. It is now 24-22. And this is exactly what happened for the Lady Pioneers back in at Blue Mountain. Blue Mountain got to set point, and the Crowley's Ridge Lady Pioneers just kept fighting and eventually took the third set. Going back is College. Powell to Stebbleton, and Stebbleton's going to push it across the net. Here's College. College looks to her left to Taylor. Taylor takes something off of it. Here's Perkins. Bump sets over to Deckelman. Deckelman skies it over, and that's in play. 24-23.
Yes, just because the other team is on set point does not mean the game is over. you can come back from a large deficit if you keep working and keep pushing. And the Pioneers are making great decisions of ball placement, and it's really, really doing a great job helping them earn these points back.
And just like that, Reed Gann wants to think things over as his toppers sit at set point 24-23. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
As it sits, it is 24-23. Hannah Powell. On the left side, here's College. College looks to her left. A good block there by the Lady Pioneers, keeping it in play. Here's Perkins. Finds Halverson. Halverson across the net. College sets over to Taylor. That's in the net, and that's going to be set point. And that's going to go in favor of Blue Mountain. So Blue Mountain takes the second set. The Lady Pioneers pushed and pushed some more, but could not get it as the Lady Toppers take set number 3 by a final score of 25-23. We will take a timeout. When we come back, we will get you set for set number 4. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
CDC is working to help keep you and your community safe from the threat of a novel or new coronavirus. There are steps you can take now to get ready if an outbreak occurs in your community. Make a household plan. Learn how to prepare and to take quick action if someone gets sick. Older adults and people with chronic medical conditions are at greater risk. Take extra steps to protect them. Think about what you will do if there are changes to your work schedule. And remember to always practice good health habits, such as frequently washing hands with soap and water, staying home when sick, and covering coughs and sneezes. For more information, visit cdc.gov.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This is Emmy Elms. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
And welcome back. Ding, ding, round 3. And that goes in favor of the guests. Pioneers fought and fought and fought some more. But it was too little, too late for the Lady Pioneers, as it was 25-23. So, Olivia, how do the Lady Pioneers take that, but shake off the fact that they lost the set and keep the momentum going?
Yeah, it's difficult when you're trading sets back and forth, but you have to know, because you won one set, you can do it again. You just keep pushing. You have to come back out strong. Make sure you clean up the little mistakes. With these teams being so close in points, trading them back and forth, you have to make sure you're not making personal errors, not doing silly things, making sure you're talking. And the Lady Pioneers did a good job of that. They just lost it a little bit at the end with the momentum shifting. But as long as they come out hard and aggressive, it's possible to do anything. They can win this game.
So as the Lady Pioneers set up, it'll be Olivia Deckelman, Caitlin Stubbleton, Sarah Grace Duncan, Caitlin Perkins, Hannah Halverson, and Heather Conaway. Emmy Elms technically on the scorer's book as starting, but she rotates out for the libero. Across the way for the toppers will be Sydney College. That is Tiandre Stewart. Lipscomb, Blanton, Stewart, Bonebreak, and Taylor. College finds Stewart, goes over just in front of the feet of Hannah Halverson. So the toppers will start the fourth set with the point. Serving is Sydney College. College skies it over right to Halverson. Here's Duncan. Sarah Grace Duncan gets the attack and gets the kill.
That was a great choice of spot on the floor for Duncan. She was able to tip it and get it to a weak area, and the toppers just couldn't quite get there to get the ball back up.
Hannah Powell will ready to run jump serve. Lofts it, sends it. College will set to the left to Taylor. Here's Deckelman. Deckelman fires it across. That goes to Stewart, to Powell, to Perkins, and Stubbleton bumps it across the net. Sending it across. That is just saying in play. Here's Deckelman. Into the air goes the ball. Here is Wright, and that goes into the net. Crowley's Ridge takes a 2-1 lead. Hannah Powell continues her run at the service line. The attack goes. Jumps. Here's Stubbleton. Stubbleton sets Halverson. Halverson across the way. That just misses outside. That is topper point.
Getting those balls in the court are very difficult when your setter is pulled off. Sometimes the ball can be coming behind your shoulder, and it's hard to adjust your approach in the area. You've got to get your arm around the ball to make sure it stays in.
On the left side, Juliana Taylor serves it. Halverson, a block by Takori Coleman going across, and that's a thank you, ma'am block there from Olivia Deckelman. Coleman got a block, and Olivia Deckelman said, well, I want one too. Caitlin Perkins will serve. Perkins just tosses it up, fires it across. College goes over, back to Perkins. Stubbleton will set over. And that is a point for the toppers, as that's going to hit the floor in front of the Pioneer feet.
Yeah, sometimes it's just too tight, sometimes it just doesn't work out with the set, and you get up there and you try to do the best you can, but you're trying to avoid hanging up in the net, and sometimes you just can't do anything.
Sarah Ray Goolsby serves it across. Stubbleton will set back to Deckelman. Here is Stubbleton, and the pass across and over by Perkins, and that is just out of play. Point goes to the toppers. So Goolsby stays at the service line. The 5'7" sophomore from Potts Camp, Mississippi. Goolsby with the service. Here is Stubbleton going to Elms. And Elms smacks it across off the arms of the topper. And Emmy Elms gets her 8th kill of the night.
That was a beautiful play by the Pioneers. Pass set and hit. Perkins did a wonderful job getting that pass up there where Stubbleton could use it. And it just really worked out with Stubbleton and Elms to get that kill.
Deckelman on the other side serves it into the net. Olivia Deckelman is one dig away from her second double-double of the season. 10 kills, sitting at 9 digs currently. Caitlin Perkins, always good with communication. You can probably hear her from up here shouting, "I've got ball," every time it comes near her. And that's a constant thing. During warm-ups, you can hear her saying, "I've got ball." How important is communication in volleyball?
It's vital. If you don't have communication, you don't have anything. And Caitlin Perkins is such a strong player, but it's because she's disciplined from the start. In practice, during warm-ups, she's doing that. She's communicating. And so because she works so hard and because she keeps herself in check, it benefits her on the court.
And a big kill there across the way from Sage Blanton. As Sage Blanton is knocking on the door of a double-double. That's her 9th kill, already with 14 kills. In the double-double category already is Juliana Taylor, who has 11 kills and 16 digs here in set number 4. Kaylin Stebleton sets to Heather Conaway, and the block attempt goes out of play. So Heather Conaway will record the kill. We're all knotted up at 6-6. It is a must-win set for the Lady Pioneers, trailing 2-1. Set goes over to Taylor. A beautiful job there by Sarah Grace Duncan to knock it down.
That was a really great idea by the Toppers. They pulled their hitter in a little bit to give her a different angle, which is so smart, but it just didn't work out because the blocker was there. But they're at least trying things. They're moving the ball around, and eventually it'll pay off.
Now serving the libero number 10, Joanna Hoffpower.
Apologize for that. Sometimes radio difficulties. I've been so excited in today's game, I yanked the cord out of my headset. The attack goes there, and that is a kill by DeAndre Stewart. Eight to 7.
Ooh, there's a ball on the court. I bet they were trying to roll it and it bounced. Every once in a while, you'll get an odd bounce, and it'll try to get under everyone's feet.
And that service goes out of play. And Coach Gann double checking with the scorebook, making sure that the scoreboard is the same thing that his brain says the score should be, which is funny because that's exactly the same thing that happened at Blue Mountain. And Coach Wynn, as you can see, just kind of running off to the side of at Blue Mountain. We had a confusion over which scoreboard side was which. But in any case, it sits at 8 to 8. The attack goes over the net, and that is a kill by the Toppers. It is 9 to 8. Substitution coming in is Taylor Wright, the North Ogden, Utah native. Sydney College with the service. Here's Deckelman. Goes over. Here's the attack point. Conaway with the attempt, and that is a kill. Heather Conaway gets her 7th kill.
Now serving college number 1, Hannah Powell.
Coach Wynn, knowing that her girls can win this if they stay in it, is some of the most animated that she can get.
It's true. She's passionate, and she's working hard for her team, and they just have to work hard for her as well.
Caitlin Perkins unable to pull that one up off the floor. So it is 10 to 9 in favor of the blue and white. Juliana Taylor serves it. Perkins with the overpass. And Tiandra Stewart just sends it right back where it came from. Forget the 10-foot line. That was at the 1-foot line.
It's so funny. That ball looks clean to me, but after she got up there and pushed that down, she looked at the up ref just to make sure.
Sarah Grace Duncan gets a kill. It is 11 to 10. Caitlin Perkins serves it. College looks to her left, and a big swing there coming out of Sage Blanton. Blanton records a double-double now, so that's 2 players with a double-double for the Toppers. Sarah Ray Goolsby with a 10-12 lead for her Toppers. And that goes into the net.
Now serve number 4.
12-11. Set from College goes back, and that finds an open corner, and that is a kill for the Toppers.
Now serving number 20, Taylor Wright.
Taylor Wright goes behind the line for the blue and white. Head coach Reed Gann's Toppers with a 13-11 lead. Punched over by Olivia Deckelman. Looking to the left, skied over, took something off of it. Good play there by Deckelman to keep it in play, and then Caitlin Perkins sends it across, and then an overpass, or over attack rather, from Sage Blanton gives the point to the Pioneers.
That was a good job by the Pioneers to follow that ball and make sure not to give up on it. Sometimes when it gets close to the bench, the sidelines, other humans, it's really easy to give up and not chase that ball because you don't want to hurt yourself or anyone else. But they stayed with it. The people got out of the way, and they got the point.
13-12. Lady Pioneers behind the visiting Toppers. Perkins bump sets it over. College will set and finds Abigail Bonebreak, who finds the hardwood. 14-12.
Now serving number 14, Sage Blanton.
Sage Blanton. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the last couple of balls, the Toppers have done a good job getting in those hard areas to defend, the in-between players, the deep balls, and they're seeing the benefit of that.
Heather Conaway picks up her 8th kill to go along with her 5 digs. 14-13. Emmy Elms with the service. Across the way, there's College, who finds Taylor. Caitlin Stebleton will set Heather Conaway. Her attack hits the hardwood. We are all wrapped up, tied up, tangled up at 14-14. 2-1 in sets. The Toppers leading the Pioneers. Elms floats that across, and that is an ace for the freshman. Lady Pioneers will take their first lead of the set since the opening serve. It is 15-14.
That was a great off-speed topspin ball, and it took them by surprise. It was a very good idea by Emmy Elms.
Taylor tips it under and hops right back up and smacks it down. The Bear Creek, Alabama native will record the kill, her 13th of the night. Joanna Hoffpower to Olivia Deckelman. Stebleton will set Sarah Grace Duncan. Here's College, bump sets to Taylor. Taylor, with a heel of the hand, finds the corner, and that is a kill. 16-15 lead for the Toppers. And she'll serve it into the net. We're all tied up at 16.
Just so much back and forth. Both teams working hard, trying their best, but every once in a while those individual errors will get in the way.
Crowley's Ridge students excited over in the student section as a service error by the Pioneers, so we'll trade service errors. Sydney College runs and serves. Halverson to Deckelman. Deckelman slowly gets it over. Here's the attack by Taylor, and Taylor splits the defenders.
The Pioneers just need to make a quick adjustment for those in-between balls. Sometimes it's miscommunication. You think the other person's going to get it, and sometimes you're just not quite quick enough. But they need to really be conscious of those since it's happened several times, especially this set.
And Halverson records an error, and the Lady Pioneers want to take a timeout as it is now 19-16 in favor of the Toppers. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have the back half of the fourth set. This is Crowley Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
My mother was very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign and she wasn't even really sure where she was at.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is Coach Wynn. This is Coach Harden. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on Pioneer Digital Network.
Welcome back to the Carter Activity Center, where the Lady Pioneers 3 behind the visiting Toppers of Blue Mountain College. Sydney College will serve for the Toppers. She runs, she serves. Halverson gets the dig. Going over, here's Deckelman. Deckelman comes out of the timeout with a kill. How important is it to come out of a timeout with a big kill like that?
It's a big deal. You call the timeout to break momentum, to regroup, to get ready. And it really boosts the team, gets everyone refocused to get out and get a kill immediately.
Hannah Powell serves for the green and white. Goes the block there by Hannah Halverson. The set there, across goes Taylor. Stebleton sets Deckelman. Deckelman back to back kills, and it is 19-18. Olivia Deckelman up to 13 kills. 19-18. Powell serves. College sets to her left. That is blocked, but that is blocked out of play. It is Topper point. Toppers 5 points away from sealing the match. But the Lady Pioneers 2 behind those Toppers. Juliana Taylor, a 5'8" junior, coming into the contest with 36 kills. She stands at 14 now. Jumping up, that is Powell to Perkins. Perkins flops it over. Sending across the net. Here's Halverson, bumps it to Deckelman. Deckelman gets out of play. And a couple of Toppers collide. And gingerly attempting to get up, favoring a foot very strongly. And we'll take a timeout with that. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is working to help keep you and your community safe from the threat of novel or new coronavirus. Take the following everyday steps to help avoid the spread of all respiratory viruses. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue. Throw the tissue away and then wash your hands. Avoid touch.
And welcome back. We are keeping that is Tiandre Stewart in our faults. She already had a brace on her right knee, but she needed a heavy assistance to get off the court. Looked like she couldn't get much weight on it at all. What did you see happen?
This is a common occurrence, but it looked like when her and her teammate went up to block, I think she came down with her foot on her teammate's other foot, and it can twist your ankle, your knee out of place, and it can really hurt. And unfortunately, it's more common than you would think, but it's dangerous being that close to another player, and I think she came down wrong, and thankfully the trainer is checking her out now.
So our prayers are with DeAndre Stewart, the 6'1 junior from Barbados, getting tended to now. Caitlin Perkins, 22-19. College sets to her left to find Blanton. Here's Halverson. Halverson just kind of gets it off her fingertips, and the kill went right up and right down. 23-19. Go ahead.
Sorry. Again, that's a weird angle. When it's coming from the back row up to you, you really have to adjust. And sometimes you give it your all and it just hits your hand wrong, and it goes down where on your side instead of the other.
Sarah Ray Goolsby, 2 points away from match point, and she'll serve it into the net. So Goolsby, kind of a service specialist. She kind of only comes in to serve in that spot of the rotation. 23-20. Olivia Deckelman with the serve. And wow, huge kill from Taylor Wright. The ricochet from that bounce will find the ball all the way back in Blue Mountain. Big kill there from Taylor Wright, and it is now match point. And that goes out of play.
That's a common mistake that you really, really don't want is when you got match point and you miss your serve. And the Pioneers got lucky on that one, that they earned that point back just by the other team missing.
Hannah Halverson. Again, match point for the Toppers. Looking to the left, here's Deckelman. Deckelman to Stebleton. Stebleton to Elms, and Elms will hit it out, and that is match point. 25-21 is the final for set number 3. So we will take a timeout, and we'll have some final statistics and get you set for the next game as the Lady Toppers take the set and the match by a final score of 3-1. This is Crowley's Ridge College Lady Pioneer Volleyball on the Pioneer Digital Network.
What is dedication?
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much, from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night, and every moment in between. It really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Coach Wynn. You're listening to Crowley's Ridge Volleyball on Pioneer Digital Network.
And welcome back for the final time to the Pioneer Digital Network. I'm Dustin Seymour, joined by my lovely wife, Olivia, as the Lady Pioneers drop a 4-game match to the Lady Toppers of Blue Mountain. Brain went dead there for a bit. As we look at some of the final statistics, Blue Mountain finished the game with 48 kills, 11.4 attack percentage, 48 assists, 11 digs, 7 service aces. The Lady Pioneers had 42 kills, 8.3% attack, 39 assists, and 101 digs, 3 aces. The Toppers were led offensively with 10 points each by Sage Blanton, Taylor Wright, and 14 points out of Juliana Taylor. Getting the double-double was Taylor with 14 kills and 16 digs. Taylor Wright had 10 kills and 13 digs. And Sage Blanton, so the 3 with double digits, had double digits for everything. So 3 double-doubles for the Toppers for the Lady Pioneers. They were led offensively by Olivia Deckelman's 12 kills. Deckelman had 11 digs, so the double-double for the junior. 25 digs out of Caitlin Perkins. 9 kills from Sarah Grace Duncan and Heather Conaway. And Emmy Elms rounded off the attack for the Lady Pioneers with 8 kills. So what did you see from the Lady Pioneers tonight that they can continue to work with to improve as they visit their next game?
I think the Lady Pioneers did a good job. They kept fighting even when they got down a set, down 2 sets. You know, they kept coming back. They would get the momentum back, make sure to keep working. When they were moving the ball, when they were doing that wonderful hustle on defense, it really worked out for them. And if they take that into the next games, they'll see results and they'll finally get those wins that they're looking for.
So Crowley's Ridge College will take a road trip next. Their next contest is actually a doubleheader. A doubleheader that will be against the Red Lions of Lincoln Christian before coming home for a 4-game homestand. So this Saturday, October 10th at 11 a.m. will be the first serve at Lincoln Christian. Followed immediately after that with the second game. The next time we will be together will be October 13th as the Lady Pioneers will host the Lady Lions of Freed-Hardeman University. We thank you for joining us tonight for this contest between the Lady Pioneers and the Lady Toppers. For Zori Chipman over there on the scoreboard for those watching, and my dear Olivia Seymour. I'm Dustin Seymour signing off for tonight. Till we meet again, good night. God bless.